Coming up next on the Filthy Rich Cleaners podcast.
Know how much that would bother me? Anytime you are resentful about a price that you agreed to with the client, honey, that's your fault.
From your first dollar to your first million, welcome to the Filthy Rich Cleaners podcast, presented by ZenMaid. Join your host, Stephanie Pipkin, founder of Serene Clean, as she shares proven tips, tricks, and hard-earned lessons. Whether you're just starting out or ready to scale, get ready to discover how to build your own cleaning empire. Let's roll up our sleeves and dive in.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Filthy Rich Cleaners podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Pipkin, owner of Serene Clean. And in today's solo episode, I want to talk about standing your ground as business owners. And I want to talk about this because in the past 24 hours, or maybe 48, I don't even know, we've had a couple instances of clients trying to press the boundaries and push us to do things in the business that we are not comfortable doing and we do not want to do. And then I also want to share an example of how I gave in to client pressure and it cost me a lot of money and reputation damage when if I had just dug my heels in and said no, which is what I wanted to do in the beginning, but I was convinced and gave in, it would have saved me a lot of heartache, a lot of struggle. So I want to share that story with you guys as well today. So that's where this is all coming from. And I know this is something that, at least for me, starting out in the business, and even to this day, I really struggle with because I can be very wanting to accommodate what clients want. And so this is, even for me, something that is a work in progress, guys. And I want these examples to bolster your confidence that you know what is right for you and you know what doesn't feel right. And I don't want you to be bullied by clients or by employees, but today we're going to focus on client stuff. And so for the first example, I was actually on vacation over the weekend, as you guys can see by my braids. I was down in the Caribbean and it was really fun. But I saw an email come in from a client because I don't do any of like the client emails. My customer relations manager, Katie, hey Katie, does all of that. But I had seen an email exchange like pop into the office email and I was like, well, that's weird. What's that all about? I was curious. So I hopped into the email chain and read through it. And we had done a first time cleaning for this gentleman, I believe last week ago, or no, we had done his first two cleanings. And so first cleaning is always full price for us. Our ongoing offer is that your second cleaning is going to be 50% off as long as it is done within 1 month of the first cleaning. That is our long-term, I guess, no-brainer offer is what we call. If you go to Serene Clean's website, you'll see it plastered all over the place. That is our offer. We don't do sales or anything like that. This is what we have going on all the time. And the reason, in case you want to steal that, it really is great. We don't like to discount the first one. It's too expensive. And then you're going to get people who just want one-off cheap free cleans or cheap first-time cleans, basically. The reason we do it the second time and the reason it has that 1 month stipulation of a timeline is we want to reward them for the habit of house cleaning because we want them to make it a habit and get used to. Because by the time you've had two cleanings and your house is like up to snuff, now you're really, really more inclined to continue on and get booked at a regular pace. So that's why we have that. If you want to steal it, it's a great offer. Go right ahead. You got my permission. Not that you need it. Okay. It's great. Anywho, so this man had gotten his second cleaning and he had emailed the office and said something along the lines of, I have been, happy thus far with your services. However, if my calculations are correct, my maintenance cleans will be around $250 a month. And the value isn't there for me. What I would like to propose is that you give me 30% off of my cleanings and I will guarantee you 9 months of business. Would you be willing to do that? And the answer, sir, if you are listening, is F no. I don't want to say the F word because I don't know if you've got little ears around you guys. But typically I would say the F word and then no. Okay. We don't do that. And for him to think that that would be an enticing offer for 9 months of cleaning, what I wanted to respond and say, well, sir, that 30% would be all of the profit from your cleaning and then some. So would you go to work for free for 9 months for a guaranteed that you get to go to work for 9 months? I bet you wouldn't. That is not what we said. I'm sure you guys can all relate to wanting to say shit to clients sometimes when they're being ridiculous. Anyways, so Katie, the sweet, sweet angel that she is, handled it beautifully. And she responded back and said, I'm so happy to hear that you are satisfied with the cleaning. Is there anything else that you can tell us? We'd love to hear how like if you're not feeling that it is of value, our prices reflect the level of service that we provide, or something of the sort. It was very eloquently stated. I'm probably butchering it. And additionally, she handled this very well. So in case you guys didn't know, we charge hourly instead of flat rate. So what that does for us is we can offer limited hour cleans where they can just buy a certain number of hours, and we work off of a priority list so that they are on a budget. So she said, if you'd like to stick to a certain budget, we can book a certain number of hours and work off of the priority list. Typically that means, kitchens and bathrooms, but you can make that decision of what is going to work for you. So would that work for you? Because this guy was already booked for reoccurring. Like, he had booked right away for reoccurring services, and now he's coming back trying to say, hey, I think you're too expensive, basically. And so Katie did this beautifully. One, she insulted the man's ego because he got all huffy and he's like, it's not a money issue. It's not a money issue. And it's like, if it wasn't a money issue, then why are you saying this? Because clearly it is. Clearly it's about the number. And obviously you think we're too expensive, which in the same day, we got like 2 emails, Katie said, of people giving glowing remarks and specifically calling out how much of a value it is. So lesson number 1, guys, what people think is affordable or of good value is so wildly not consistent because it is based on that person's interpretation of things. All right. So that man saying that it's not value of him, I don't give a shit, honestly, if it's a value to him, because it is a value to the majority of people, or they wouldn't work with us, right? If they reach out to us and they agree and they keep working with us, clearly they think it's a good value because they won't be paying it. So the market dictates that. And one guy saying it's not value to him, well, you shouldn't care, all right? And that's what we didn't care. So she offered this and he said, yes, let's do a couple hours. And even with her pushing, he would not give any singular complaint because here's the thing, there was nothing wrong with the quality. He just doesn't like the price. That's okay, man. That's okay that you don't like the price, but we're not going to give you a discount, all right? Do you go into a restaurant and order the best steak and say, that was a great steak, but I want to pay less next time I come in? Can I get this at 30% off? No, you freaking wouldn't do that. So it just drives me insane when clients do this and they think that they can dictate your prices. So please, guys, stand firm. Don't let clients tell you what your price is. They can walk away. Maybe you decide to adjust your prices down the road. Maybe it is too high for your area. I don't know what you're charging, but don't let one individual or even multiple individuals say, oh, you're too expensive. You're too expensive. Let me tell you, if you are a professional cleaner, meaning you have expenses, especially if you have cleaners and you have to pay them, that skyrockets your expenses. You got insurance, you got workers' comp, you got all of your supplies and tools. And at the end of the day, you need to make money. Because why would you do this if you were not making money? People get their panties in a wad about cleaning company owners making money, or really small business owners in general making money. It's psychotic. It's like, why would we leave the stability of, or the more stability of a normal workplace where we don't have to deal with employees, we don't have to deal with everything being on our shoulders, and then we also don't make money ever. Why would we do that? Like, it's just wild. So guys, if you are a cleaning business, you need to be charging at least minimum, I would be shooting for 45 an hour. And that's not necessarily, even if it doesn't mean you're charging hourly, but that's what the market dictates right now. That is across our country what you can get for that, at least. All right, we're higher than that in rural Wisconsin. Yes, that has a lot to do with branding and marketing. But how are you going to pay a cleaner, guys, and pay all the taxes and pay all the insurance and deal with all of the liability and BS and marketing and all of this stuff and softwares and all of the expenses, right? I'm preaching to the choir. How are you going to pay for all of that if you have no money left over after you pay the staff member? Okay. And you have to make money. So all of this to say, this guy just pissed me off because it's like, no, you don't know. You don't get that. And opportunity cost, I want you to think about that. So if you don't know what opportunity cost is, it's typically used in kind of an economic standpoint, but I use it all the time. And I think about this concept all the time in my life at all times. So what I'm talking about with opportunity costs is if you have a cleaning time slot, say you have 4 hours of cleaning available. If you give that to one client and book them, that means you can't give that same time slot to another client. The opportunity cost is you gave it to them, they can't have it. So if we were to cave and give that guy his guaranteed slot for the next 9 months for a 30% off discount, the opportunity cost is that I cannot book that same time slot with a higher paying client. All right. So I just lost the opportunity to do that. That makes no sense. And that's exactly what I would tell that gentleman if he was standing in front of me of why would I give you that when I can book another client for our price in that same time slot? Please tell me what the benefit is to my business, what the benefit is to me, the benefit to my staff members, because you doing that is a slap in the face to my staff members who want their benefits, meaning all of the benefits Serene Clean provides. It's a slap in the face to the community that we donate to, and it's a slap in the face to all of the other clients who are paying our full prices and happily doing so, right? So maybe I'm a little heated about this. I don't know. It just happened. So anytime something just happens, I get a little bit heated. So sorry guys if I'm coming in hot at you, but please, please, please don't let people bully you into lower prices. All right. If you make that decision, make sure it's your decision. Don't let a customer influence you or push you, because I will tell you, if we caved, you know how much I would resent that? You know how much that would bother me? But it'd be my own freaking fault. All right. So anytime you are resentful about a price that you agreed to with the client, honey, that's your fault. That's your fault. Okay. And it's okay. And you can cancel. You can increase prices. You can learn from that one-time clean. Please don't do it again. All right. This is where we learn. We have all made pricing mistakes. We have all lost our asses on jobs. It doesn't mean keep doing it. Okay. And this is where production rate audits come in. This means how much money did I make per hour on that job actually versus how much did I charge? Or did I have to constantly keep asking for more money from the client? Not a good look either. Are you charging enough at all on jobs? All of these things are really important. And I'm so passionate about it because I want you to make money, guys. This is Filthy Rich Cleaners, right? You ain't getting rich or even modestly wealthy if you don't charge enough money, okay? And do not give in to clients trying to do that. All right, I know I just talked for 12 minutes about that, but it just has me heated and I really don't want you to be taken advantage of. Situation number 2 that just happened yesterday, literally in my 5-hour management meeting. We did an operations meeting that was fabulous and I can't wait to show all of the cool things that are coming out of it, specifically when it comes to like wages and raise schedules for our staff. Just fascinating things, I know. Anywho, this was happening. So I think I shared with you guys last month. Or no, not last month. It's still January. It's January 30th when I'm recording this. So I don't know when this one's coming out. But earlier this month, we had bid we bid several commercial facilities and 3 of them said yes within like a 24-hour period. It was crazy. So between the 3 accounts, that would equal over $8,000 in reoccurring monthly revenue. That's huge, right? That's a ton of money. And we're super excited. So there was 3 accounts, and this account that I'm about to talk about is the middle one in size. It's a 5-day-a-week account. It's about 2 hours a night. And it was going to be about $2,000 a month in revenue. So, a good account, like that's good. We are very happy if, a couple grand a month, that's fabulous. 2 hours a night, easy. Not ideal time for us, but we were kind of making a concession because of the location it was in. But overall, we were having a lot of back and forth. So they said yes, they wanted us like pretty much immediately, which was great. We were like on this high of like, oh my God, we're invincible. We're getting all of these commercial accounts, right? It's fabulous. Very exciting. Okay. So in the past week, there's been a lot of back and forth on the contract. And that's really unusual for us. So we have a very standard contract that our commercial accounts sign, all of them, just like our residential. And it has nothing to do with they are beholden to us. They can cancel at any time, just like we can cancel on them at any time. We don't have any like year-long contracts or anything like that. I'm not a fan of that. If you do that, that's your thing, but I don't suggest it just because if somebody wants to leave because you're doing a bad job or it's a bad relationship, you should be able to walk away without penalty, as long as you give proper notice, whatever that is, 10 days, 30 days, whatever it is that you want to require. So anyway, so we sent our contract over and they sent their version of the contract over and nothing was changed except one thing. And it was our non-solicitation clause. And if you're like, Stephanie, what does that mean? In our commercial, actually in our residential as well, we have a non-solicitation clause, which means that the client cannot go to our cleaner and try to basically take them from us. And if they do that, and it actually happens, we can't stop our cleaner from quitting. Obviously, there's no, non-competes are not a thing, guys. Remember, in our industry, we can't stop the cleaner from doing that. But the client would have never had access to that cleaner if not for us. So we can hold them liable to a non-solicitation clause as long as they sign to it. And so for us, ours says that if you do that, you will pay Serene Clean a $1,500 training fee. Because we're the ones who invested in this employee and we trained them how to clean and all of this stuff. So you're going to pay us a $1,500 training fee. Have we ever in 6 years actually had to do that? Nope. But it's in there for a reason, to protect our ass, because it costs thousands of dollars to train a new staff member, both from their hourly wage, but also the trainer's wage, right? Because that's money too. Additionally, the administrative labor of setting that person up. My HR manager, Crystal, she does a lot of work getting a new staff member from, start to finish. It's a ton of administrative legwork. That costs money too. So there's a lot of money that goes into a new employee, both from a time and financial standpoint. Okay. So $1,500 is more than fair if it was necessary. Bringing it back to our contract that they sent back. Their contract that they sent back was $500 solicitation fee. We're like, that's pretty sus, right? Like, why would you adjust the amount if you had no intentions of trying to solicit our employee? And so we just emailed back and we're like, hey, dude, all looks good, except can you adjust that back? That should be $1,500. Not sure where that got changed. His response that came through yesterday morning was, my management team says we cannot agree to that. And we do not want your employees. We just want you to clean. And it came across kind of like huffy, like, why would you suggest that we would do that? And it's like, hey guy, we're suggesting it because you tried to take out our non-solicitation. And with his response, he was saying they wouldn't agree to it at all. So not only did they first adjust it down, then they came back and said, we are not going to sign any contract that has a non-solicitation clause, but we promise we're not going to solicit your employees. Why would you say that? Like, how dare you? Like, this is totally nonsensical, right? Like, it does not make sense. Why would they say that? And so as management, we're just like literally this happened yesterday. We're like sitting there live talking about it as the email comes in. And we're like, we would never work for or work with a client that won't sign that, because what would the benefit be? We are increasing risk on a non-ideal client because of time of day. Yeah, the money's great, but from a scheduling perspective, honestly, it was kind of a relief of like, oh my gosh, if we didn't have them, then this cleaner schedule could work like this. It'd be so much better, blah, 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 right? So we all, in that moment, we're like, we're good with losing them. We're good with this. We are not going to adjust this. And if you guys remember, this is also the client who, they wanted net 30 terms, and we always do net 15 for commercial. So we had already conceded for this client so that we could get that $2,000 a month to do something that we're not necessarily comfortable with, but we're like, you know what? Like, it's okay if we just make this one exception. So we'd already made one exception to Serene Clean's rules. We'll be damned if we make two. And just to increase our risk with no reward, right? Yeah, like that money is reward, but it's just like, why would they suggest us? Like you guys tell me, is there any reason that someone would say, we won't agree to a non-solicitation clause, and it doesn't seem like at some point they want to have an opening without any recourse to solicit our staff members? Like, if you don't plan to do it, why won't you sign to it, right? So yeah, it was kind of crazy. And so we emailed back and they said, okay, then we can't work with you. Best of luck. And we're like, cool. Like, there was none of us were upset about it, because they clearly are not our ideal client. If one, we're already making concessions. Two, it's not the best time of day for us. And then three, they are already pushing our buttons and our boundaries and trying to get us to do things that we do not feel comfortable with. And we haven't even started the frickin' cleaning yet. All right. So like, it's just like total, like, alert, red flags are going off. So all of that to say, guys, I hope these two examples show, please dig your heels in, all right? If you lose the account, if you lose the client, if you don't get them because you stood your ground in your business, they're not the client for you. And I know that sucks and that feels really painful to turn away potential money. I know it does. And I'll tell you about it the next story I'm about to tell you, the last one, guys. I know it sucks, but long term, please believe me, it is the best thing for you. And every time you stand up for yourself, you are flexing that muscle of standing up for yourself. All right. It's a muscle. It's a backbone thing. You got to build up that backbone and stick up for yourself, because employees and clients are going to constantly try to see where your line is so that they can cross it. Right? Because if you don't stand firm, they're going to walk all over you. You give them an inch, they'll take a mile. It's like a child. All right. They want to see how far they can push mom before she says no. Okay. So they're going to do the same thing. So you have to stand up for yourself. It's not personal. This is business and it's your business. All right. You are the one who gets to set the rules and you are in complete control. You're the boss. All right. So be the boss. Be the boss, guys. Story number 3, and this is where Stephanie did not listen to anything she just said in the past 3 minutes, or really the past 21 minutes, frankly. Okay, let's go back to COVID time. Picture this. It's 2020. We're getting hit left and right from commercial accounts asking us to do more disinfecting services. So one-off disinfecting. We're coming in, we're spraying down machines, we're getting it all disinfected for their staff because they're essential businesses, they're manufacturing facilities, they're commercial accounts that need to keep running, and they need disinfecting to make their employees feel better. Regardless if we're doing the spraying or not, okay, we'll take your money, commercial accounts, right? That was my thought process, because I didn't have residential at the time because COVID. So we had a regular client, a manufacturing facility to this day. They are actually, I believe, one of my longest commercial accounts. They are 5 days a week, and 5 or 3. They might be bumped down to 3 right now, but they have been upwards of 5 times a week. And that's the majority of the time they've been with us. They're a big pipe bending facility. I'm not going to say their name, but if you're from my area, you know who they are. And great relationship. It'll be, 6 years in, I think, end of the year, we've been cleaning for this place, right? So really, really long-term account. But 2020, obviously, I was only in business a year. So we had been cleaning for them for a year, and we had been doing disinfecting for them. Like, we did a big round of disinfecting during COVID. And this facility has sister facilities in other towns kind of in our area. The one is about 45 minutes in one direction from our town. The other one was an hour and a half away. And so both of them called and said, hey, we heard you did Black River Falls disinfecting. Will you please come do this? We're freaking out. It's COVID. It would make our employees feel so much better, and we will pay you a lot of money. And I'm like, yeah. So I, Stephanie, went and did it on like a Sunday in my with my, fertilizer sprayer, and sprayed disinfectant all over for them. And it was great. And they were so happy because, we came out and did it. We did a good job, even though I don't know how they know that, because we sprayed everything. I don't know, whatever. It was all good. So both of those facilities then wanted us. They wanted Serene Clean to do their regular janitorial services. And the one that was 45 minutes away, that one, though it was pushing our service range, comfortability, and capabilities, we bid it and we got it immediately. So we pretty much started cleaning that right away. That was another 5-day-a-week account. Very difficult to staff. Spoiler alert, we don't clean there anymore either because it was so hard to staff. But the other one, the one that was an hour and a half away in Viroqua, not that you know what that town is, because unless you're in western Wisconsin, but that's how far away it was from Black River Falls to Viroqua. It's very far. One way, especially during like winter storms in Wisconsin, we're talking about hours and hours of travel time. And they were like, please bid this. And I was like, no. I said no. And I said no because it made no sense because it's so far away. I knew it was going to be a BITCH to staff it. But they were like, but please, will you do this? And I was like, well, because you said please so many times, yes. And I bid it and we started it. And you want to know how much money it was a month? It was $5,000 a month. So that's a lot of money, especially during the very uncertain times of COVID. So I was even more prone to bend my rules about service range when I darn well knew that it was going to be difficult to staff. So anyway, get cleaners in there and they're driving from far away. So I did have the foresight to add like a good amount for travel charges into their bid, because obviously it was a flat rate price. So we were doing good. And then, we had job listings in that town, but it's a super small area and very few people to hire in the first place, as well as hire for this type of work, right? Because not everybody wants to be a basically janitor in a very dirty manufacturing facility. Like there's like welding dust. It's just dirty, right? It's a man's place, super duper blue collar. Anyway, we get a guy in there, and that was probably one of my other horror stories. Side note, if my horror story, my top 5 horror stories is not posted yet, it should be, I think. Go watch that. We'll tag that in the videos if you want to hear some of my favorite employee horror stories. I just recorded that one before this, and it was fun. So one of the other ones was this employee. He was just kind of a nightmare. He wouldn't listen. It was a lot of he said, she said, and every time he called in, guess what? Myself or my managers would have to drive an hour and a half one way and clean it last minute on top of probably cleaning elsewhere or working elsewhere. So it was just kind of a nightmare every time this guy called in, and he wouldn't listen. This man had an obsession with vinegar. Like he just, and under no uncertain terms, this account was like, F the vinegar, we hate the smell. Use something else, like use a normal cleaning product. And we kept telling him, dude, they don't like vinegar. Where are you getting vinegar? Are you buying it? Where is this vinegar appearing from? Stop using it. You do not have permission to use vinegar. And he just wouldn't stop. I don't know what was going on. Anyway, so just time and time again, we were just getting escalated complaints. We would send somebody else in to try to, take place. And once that guy got fired or quit, I can't remember how it ended. Like, we couldn't staff the damn thing. We were filling in, we were spending so much in drive time and also taking, our house cleaners away to accommodate this. And everything was screaming, this doesn't make sense. Why are you trying to make this work, Stephanie? It's not going to work. And so I made the call and I sent the email and I was like, look, we cannot, with integrity, provide services with you because integrity is one of Serene Clean's core values. And this is wrong. And I just had that icky feeling in my belly and I was upset and like so stressed about this account because every day it's like, how are we going to cover this? Who's going to clean there? Is this guy going to show up? Like, is it what is going to be waiting in my inbox when I show up to work every day? Because that's what it would be. They started the day very early at that facility and I would wake up and I would be laying in bed, checking emails in my bed, and it would just be like the immediate complaint, like this got done, like this was bad, this was whatever, this is what the cleaner did, or he didn't show up, or whatever. It was so stressful, guys. And I know you might be like, Stephanie, it's $5,000 a month, freaking deal with it. Well, guys, like after all of the expenses of paying this guy and the administrative headache and doing all the fill-ins and just the stress, let me tell you, at that $5,000, it was not worth it. And so I sent the email and I canceled services on them. And that was the biggest account that I have ever dropped. And this headache was not worth the whatever 4 months of revenue, that 20 grand or whatever we got from them. It was not worth the headache because we had to lose them anyway. And I now had upset them, and now all of those people, which that is on our service range for residential, saw us disappoint. All right. So what is the social impact of that from a branding perspective, as well as like the failure of it all? And it is that, like, I think about that no less than once a week of like, don't do that. Don't do shit like that. Don't do things you shouldn't be doing because all you can see is the dollar signs, or all you can be is a yes man. That's what I was being. I was being a yes man because they begged us, and I didn't want to disappoint. But look what happened, guys. I disappointed because I did not stand my ground. And all of these examples that I gave today is to please impart in you, stand your ground. Stand your ground. You need to do what you know is right for your business, for your finances, for your situation. You have to listen to your gut and remember that you're in charge here. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. So don't let other people convince you otherwise. So please, I hope you take all of these and really, really listen to what I'm saying and learn from my mistakes there and from the lessons from just this week in Serene Clean. All right. Like stuff. That's why I'm recording this, is stuff still is happening every single week in Serene Clean. And I want to share this with you guys. And that's the beautiful thing of me still being in my business, is that stuff's still happening, and it allows me to like share these lessons and helps me reflect too on and grow and maintain who I want to be as a business owner, because it is hard. It's very easy to say these things. It's hard to actually put them in place when you have a customer in your face saying these things or asking for this or whatever. Like, I know in that moment it's hard, guys, but please take my words. Like have little Stephanie on your shoulder saying, don't do it, guys. Don't lower your price. Don't take the job. It doesn't make sense. All right. And I probably have a million other examples, but these are all the ones that came to mind or are fresh for me. So I hope this was enjoyable to you guys. Like I said, check out that other episode that I just recorded on some of my craziest employee stories. You'll enjoy them, especially number one. It's a little spicy. Let's just say you'll have to hop on over to that one. Like I said, not safe for work on that first one. But it is good, and it's pretty wild. So hop on over there, watch that, guys. Please hit that subscribe, hit that like. Let me know what you think in the comments. I would love to hear from you guys. This has been so fun starting this podcast and really creating our little community, and I'd love to hear from you. Hit us up in the ZenMaid Facebook Mastermind. If you're not a member there, you don't have to be a ZenMaid customer to be in there. You can join, and we can connect there as well. So I will see you in the next episode, guys. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.